Hi all, you're very welcome to our first class in growing organically at home. My name is Roisin Cotter and I teach a night class in growing organically in O'Fee College. And for the next few weeks we're going to be doing some classes here in my garden. And I hope you've all been keeping well and safe. And I know that now there's a huge interest in growing some food at home, a side effect of this time that we've all been spending at home. So we're actually at a great time of year for growing lots of different vegetables and salads, herbs, etc. So we can start off this week looking at the basics of compost. So if we're going to start growing anything, we really need to be sowing our seeds now, and we need to look at the different types of compost, because with everything, I suppose, like everything in life, you get what you pay for with compost. So I think a lot of the shops are still delivering and have supplies of compost, so it doesn't seem to be a problem in getting access to it at the minute. So I have some different types of compost here that I use every year when I'm sowing my own seeds, and I use in class. And I just wanted to show you the different types of compost that you can get, and that there actually is a difference in compost. So we have 3 types here, which have all different structures and different price levels. So when we're going to sow seeds, we need to get, number 1, usually a seed sowing compost or a good multi-purpose compost. So this is the type I use a lot. The brand is Jack's Magic, but don't worry about that. But it's a multi-purpose. But the thing about it is, it's actually quite fine and nice. So it's quite good for sowing seeds. So if you just take a quick look at it, a closer look at, you'll see it's nice, fine compost. Now this one has got some seaweed added to it, and it's perfect, as it says on the bag, perfect for seed sowing, potting, planting and containers. So it should be fine for sowing your seeds, even small little seeds, which we will look at later, and for potting things on further when the seeds have started to grow. So these bags of compost are usually, there's usually a deal on them when you can get 3 bags for a certain amount of money, so they're good value for money. They're not that expensive. They're usually about 6 or 7 euros in the shops. So you can see it's fine, and we wouldn't have a problem if we used it for seed sowing. Little seeds will be able to germinate in that, and they'll be able to come up through it. So that's the first type of compost, called Jack's Magic. But any kind of good multi-purpose, any good brand will be fine. Now I want to show you a cheaper type of compost that you can get. And again, this is widely available, as you can see where it's from. But you can see the difference if you have a look there. This one is probably quite a bit rougher in texture. There's lots more bits of wood fibre in this, and it seems to be a bit drier. So this one wouldn't be just as good for sowing little seeds in, because if you can imagine, you put that into a pot or a container, and then if your seeds have to try and germinate through that, they're going to have to try and get through these lumps. Now this would be fine if you wanted to use it for potting on something after you've sown the seeds and they've grown into little plants. So, but it's obviously a lot cheaper than this one. So that's the cheaper variety, pretty fibrous. The other issue I've had trying to use these ones before for seed sowing is that they either dry out very quickly or they hold on to water. And if they dry out very quickly, the seeds haven't got enough water to start growing. And if they hold on to water, sometimes the seeds can rot. And that can be a problem, particularly if you have bigger seeds, which we'll be looking at when we're doing our seed sowing. So this is another lovely type. It's called Living Green, and this one is a certified organic compost. And this is available in most of the local garden centres as well. It's more expensive. I think it might be maybe 7-8 euros for a 40-litre bag, but it's a lovely quality of compost. And if you just take a look at that, see how fine it is. It's darker as well compared to the others. It's actually darker. I don't know if you'll be able to see how the difference in that, but it's very fine, it's very crumbly, the texture is very light. You can imagine it would be very easy for seeds to germinate in that. So it's also certified organic, and it comes from a producer in Donegal who actually, they were people who had a worm farm in Donegal, and they were supplying worms to the fishing industry, and then they realised there was a byproduct of the worms, that was the worm casts, the poo of the worms, and they decided they would try and do something, make a product with that. And what they did was they turned it into compost. So it's really high quality, very good Irish produced compost. Now, the issue with a lot of our composts is now they are based on peat, and we know peat is a non-renewable resource, so it's going to run out, and we shouldn't be digging up our peat bogs to make compost. So the whole industry is moving away from using peat. So we can now get peat-free compost as well. I don't actually have any here at home, but you can get it locally, no problem at all. And it is also fine. Sometimes it can be a little bit more fibrous, but it's generally absolutely fine for sowing your seeds in. And it's the way the whole industry will go eventually, because we have to stop using peat. So there's other products on the market now as well that are made into compost. Sheep's wool is one of them, bracken is another one. They're all being turned into compost. So there's lots of innovative new measures now. So living green, really beautiful. You know, if you're only sowing a few seeds, maybe buy a bag of this if you think you're only going to need one bag, a small bag, 40 litres. I also use the rougher one sometimes just for filling up beds, and I'll show you the beds in my tunnel at another time. And sometimes this is just handy to have as a filler if you don't have enough topsoil or your own homemade compost at home.